Hi guys, so in today's lesson we're going to look at power chords. What are they, how to use them, and some good song examples of power chords in play. So first of all, what is a power chord? Okay, so a power chord is just a two-note chord, all right? There's only two notes within the chord, and I'll explain to you some sort of variations of a power chord as we go through them. I'll show you all of the variations. It's neither major nor minor. That's a really important thing to say, okay? So a power chord is neither major nor minor, so you can get away with playing a power chord over any major or minor chord. For instance, if a song was ending on a G minor chord, and maybe you're playing through the song and you think, oh geez, is it a G major or G minor chord it ends on? I can't remember. Oh no. And if you've got to decide, on the last minute what chord you're going to play, are you going to play the major and minor, and you get the chord wrong, and you play a major when it should have been a minor, it's going to sound horrible. However, if you played a power chord, or a G5 chord is what we call it, if you played a G5 power chord, you would get away with it because it's neither major or minor, okay? It hasn't got the third in it, okay? That's the important part. If you don't worry too much about it, what I'm talking here is like intervals. I'm talking about intervals. Don't worry too much about that. We can talk about that in a later lesson, but it hasn't got, just so you know, it hasn't got the third, which gives it the characteristic of a major or a minor, okay? So, cracking straight on then with a power chord, I'm going to play through an exercise which basically goes across the whole of the part of the fretboard and all the strings down this end of the guitar. And then I'm going to build on that and give you the variation of the power chord shape, okay? So the first power chord shape you're going to learn, we're going to start down here because this is the hardest part of the fretboard. So my thinking is if you can play it down here on the widest part of the fretboard, then you can play a power chord anywhere across the fretboard, okay? So let's start with the hardest area of the guitar first. Let's get that done. So we're going to use finger 1 and finger 3 for the power chord, okay? Finger 1 is going to go on fret number 1 of the low E string, and finger 3 is going to go on fret number 3 of the A string. Okay, then we're going to put those two down. All right, aim for the fret wires like we said in the previous lesson where you want to put your hand finger position. Aim for just before the fret wire there, so not back here, okay? Up as close as you can to there. The secret in this, to get your finger to that far there, is the thumb position on the back of the neck, okay? If you've got your thumb over the top like that, I physically can't, my hand is locked now, I physically can't move that third finger even though I'm trying, I can't move that third finger any closer to the wire, okay? So really important, if you're noticing your thumb's coming over the top like that, be aware of your thumb to begin with, and then make sure you drop it round, bring it round so your hand opens up like that. On the back of the guitar, my thumb is around about the middle of the neck, okay? And then now I can reach out to the fret wire. Okay, so let's play our first power chord then. This one here, first finger there, that tells me the name of the chord. That's the root note there on fret number 1. That's an F, okay? So this one becomes an F power chord or an F5, okay? The number 5 comes from the next note in the power chord, which is this one here. Basically, within a scale, okay? Don't worry too much about this, but within a scale, that note and that note, they're 5 notes apart, okay? So difference between that note and that note is 5 notes apart, and that's the reason why it's called F5. Okay, let's play our power chord then. So first finger down on the first fret of the low E string, third finger down on the third fret of the A string, and we're just going to hit the E and the A strings now together. Let's try that. So what you're aiming for now is to just hit those low strings, okay? We don't want to hit any of the other ones. It will sound like this. Okay, I quite like the sound of that, but it doesn't sound too great. It's not what we're after. So you want to angle that first finger down, not pressing down because it's not a bar chord, okay? So we're not pressing down. We're just angling it down to keep it muted, all right? So that when the right hand digs into the strings, if I accidentally hit more than those two low strings here, they ring out over the top, and you don't hear these ones ringing out, okay? So that's our first shape, okay? So that's our F5 power chord. What we're going to do on this exercise, we're going to go from there, we're going to keep the same shape, I'm going to move that up to fret number 4. So the first finger goes to fret 4, up to there, okay? This one now is a G sharp 5 power chord, simply because that's the root note and that's a G sharp note there, okay? G sharp 5, we're going to call that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 8 strums down on the F5, so we're going to go up to G sharp 5 for 8. Then we're going to change across strings, okay? Because what's important about power chords is that you can play them across the fretboard. Then we're going to go to fret number 1, same shape, fret number 1 on the A string with finger 1, and fret number 3 on the D string with finger 3, okay? And then we're going to hit now, watch this now, because you're going to hit the A and the D strings. So use the tip of your first finger here is acting now as a mute for the low E string, as well as muting these top strings there, okay? So the important thing about power chords is the clever muting of your, your left hand. So the tip of the first finger here is touching that E string. So if I do catch it when I strum, which I inevitably will do that, so it's mute with the tip of my finger on the left hand there. Okay, so we're going to move down to that. That one is called A sharp 5. That's an A sharp power chord there. So far we've gone to A sharp 5. Then we're going to move that shape up to fret 3. This is C5 power chord. Okay, then I'm going to carry on the shape down now across the fretboard to the D and the G strings, fret 1 and fret 3 again, same shape. This one is now D sharp 5. And the last part of our little exercise, we're going to move it up to fret 3 and fret 5. And this one is back to F5 again, okay, but just a different octave. So this F5 and that one are exactly the same, just one's a lower octave and one's a higher octave. So let's just have a go at playing through that exercise slowly along with me, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're feeling adventurous, we can go back down. So okay, get the hang of that. Make sure that's nice and accurate. Get the notes nice and clean and clear, and with with nice muted notes. And then let's just try it a little bit faster, okay? So we're going to go. Okay, great. So, as I said, I'm going to show you some variations of the power chord now. That one is the most simplest power chord you ever see, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's fine to do that. If you want to add more meat to the power chord, what we tend to do is we add a little finger, okay? So we're just going to expand on what you've already done, that exercise. We're going to add an extra finger, the little finger, the fourth finger, and that now goes on fret number 3 of the D string, okay? And this is a full power chord shape now, okay? The other one, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You can still do that, but this one has a bit more meat to it, okay? Whether you use that one or that one sometimes depends on whether the song was written with that one or that one, okay? It's simple as that. So that's sometimes the reason why you might use that shape over that shape. All you've done now is still a 2-note chord, and you're probably looking at the screen thinking, well, hang on a minute, how's it a 2-note chord when there's 3 fingers on the fretboard? Well, what's happened is that finger now, the fourth finger here, is the same note as the F down on here, okay? So we just got like a higher octave of that note there, so the higher F note added to the chord, which gives it more meat, as I said, gives it more sort of more meat to the sound. So we're going to do the same exercise now, but we're going to add the little finger to the top of the chord. So if I move through that shape, so this is the first shape. Good to say as well, what you want to try and do is keep the shape within the air, if that makes sense. So within the air like that, you're keeping the shape and just moving it, so you keep good form. What you might notice is as you slide up, you start to do this. Yeah, and you lose the shape, so it's really important to keep the shape as you sort of within the air. So you let the pressure off when as you go to move, but try and keep that shape like that, so you can move that shape around. As you can see, that's keeping the same. I'm not doing this and moving my hand in it, so I'm moving around the fretboard. So that's important to practice. If we carry on through the exercise now, what I was going to say to you is that when we get up to the D string, it's where things change a little bit, and it's just because of the tuning of the B string, okay? So we go through the same exercise, so... Now, when we get to the D string, this is where things change. Because of the tuning of the guitar, we can no longer keep the same shape at the top here, okay? We want to put our little finger, this is the stretchy bit, our little finger goes out 1 extra fret there, okay? That's the only thing you need to remember, and then it goes the same again. Let's do the full exercise then, a bit faster. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down. Okay, and that is all the power chord shapes you're going to need to know. Okay, so the 2-finger power chord shape and the 3-finger power chord shape. The little finger just adds a bit more meat to the sound and just sort of thickens it up a little bit. Okay, so that's your first part of your power chord stage, to learn those. So if you get those chords down, get them sounding nice and clear. Once they sound nice and clear, have some fun with it. Pop on the overdrive channel of your amp, okay? It's important to have fun when you're learning. Pop the overdrive channel on your amp and see if you can still keep it nice and clean. I'll play through the same exercise now with a bit of overdrive. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. One other thing you can do just to make it sound a bit more chunky, and what's very common in songs, is to rest the palm of your hand down on the bridge of the guitar, down on the saddles down here, on this part down here, and it just makes it really, really chunky, so you get this. Okay, so it gives you a really chunky sound. So that's power chords, okay? That's everything you need to know about power chords. I'm just going to give you some song examples to finish off there, so you've got something really fun to practice along with. I think the most famous riff, you probably agree, is Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit, okay? That's one of the riffs I learned first on the guitar. It's just such a great riff, and it's fun to play as well, okay? So we're going to keep it relatively simple. This riff is actually pretty difficult if you're trying to get all the rhythmic strums in between, but we're going to keep it relatively simple and just teach you the power chord shapes for this one. So we're going to start on fret number 1 again, so we start on the same place as we were, so we already learned this chord shape, the F5, 1 and 3 on the E and the A there with fingers 1 and 3, and then we're going to go down, up, down, okay? You drop that shape down to A sharp 5 there, so we do 2 down strums on that chord there. Then you're going to move the shape up to G sharp 5 again. We've done this shape, and we're going to do down, up, down, and then 2 down strums on. This is C sharp 5 now. So we got, and cycle that round. Okay, so that's such a great riff. So that's example number 1. Okay, Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit. And then the last one to do, really simple one, is You Really Got Me by the Kinks. Again, it starts in the same place, so the F5 power chord down here, and it slides up to G5 and back, okay? As soon as I play it, you're going to go, how is that so simple? Such a recognisable riff and such a cool riff. It goes. Okay, so you're literally sliding up between 1 and 3 to 3 and 5 and back, so. And that's as simple as that. It's You Really Got Me by the Kinks. I hope you enjoyed that lesson, guys. Have some fun with the power chords. They're really, really great fun to play. Practice it on a clean channel of an amp first, and then if you want to have some fun once you've got the technique down, pop onto the overdrive channel and have some real fun with those riffs. I'll see you in the next lesson.